Hello, everybody. Thank you again for joining us. We have a very special edition of HearthCenter this week. As most of you know, we've been holding our card contest for quite a while now, and basically we've accepted so many submissions and so many different card ideas from all sorts of readers, and this episode of HearthCenter is dedicated to going over some of these card submissions, giving you guys a little bit of transparency on how we rated them and what was our thoughts going through this. And to join me, I have members of the Hearthstone editorial team here at Gosugamers. So welcome all of the Gosugamers editors. Hello.
Hey.
Hi guys.
I guess here we'll just go down the list. You guys can introduce yourselves. So let's start with you, StoThex.
Well, I'm StoThex, and I'm actually the one that had the idea for the contest. So
this is
the
your
brainchild
baby.
behind all this.
So I hope everyone is enjoying the contest.
Nice. And okay, moving on, Jonas.
Jonas Rexulus. I'm working for a few months now in Hearthstone, also a bit of Heroes of the Storm editorial.
Cool.
And I liked your context, Nico. Thanks.
Nice.
And the one and only.
Yeah, that's me, the Nydra man.
Yes.
Who actually, funny thing about StoThex mentioned that this is his idea. So now he's my most hated person in the world because to actually retrieve the prizes for the contest, I had to spend half of the day at the customs on Friday and pay a total of 150 euros just to take the package. And I still don't have it, and I have to go again on Monday. Yeah, so your idea for community contest cost me a lot. So
Oh my god. That dedication.
Thanks, Obama, I would say.
That's actually all
Well,
right.
right.
And I'm sure you guys already know who I am. No one wants to hear about me.
So
Anyways,
everybody be fucking grateful because this is not coming cheap to us, to any of us, most of all me. But I'm really happy to do it. It's a fun thing to do.
yeah, we've had all sorts of fun doing this thing, and going over these cards. So just to give a little bit of context, we've created a list of the most contested cards, as in these are the cards that we've had the biggest disagreements on, and then we also have a list of cards that we agreed the most on. So without any further stalling, let's just get started. The very first card is Hibernate. It is a hunter spell. It's epic, and it reads, you give a friendly beast immune and then restore it to full health, but it's unable to attack. Now, I gave this card like a 0. I'm like, no way, this card's broken, it's busted, just give a minion taunt, and it's this huge wall that is, the same as like the Warlock Legendary, but better, So I gave this card a 0, and actually I know that Jonas and StoThex agree with me on this, that the card is low rated, but Nydra, you actually rated this a 7. Do you care to explain yourself?
Yeah, okay, so 7, I admit, might be a bit too high, but I kind of like the card because there's an interesting stuff you can do, and more particularly, taunt a beast with Houndmaster or something, then immune it, and then create this impassable wall behind which you can apply pressure. And I was looking at this, and I've always wanted to see Control Hunter in the meta, and a lot of the GVG cards suggested that we might see something, but we still haven't. So this card kind of make it possible in my eyes. Like, okay, you taunt like a beast, you immune it, and then the guy has to silence it or like execute it or something, because I think execute should work on immune creatures. I don't know actually, but I think it's just immune to damage. So you need to like a sap or a hard removal obviously damage won't do. But the fact that it's 4 mana, and the fact that you need like a Houndmaster and a Beast in play, kind of like you need a lot of setup for this to work. So it's not really OP or broken in my eyes.
Yeah,
But
but like the theme, it makes no sense. You put a beast to sleep and then it becomes unstoppable.
well,
What? Hibernate?
yeah,
What?
it gets really, really tough to kill. But it's not like unstoppable. Like unstoppable, it would be like if it starts to attack and then it's immune and then you can do nothing about it. Then it will be broken.
I
Like I agree
suppose.
that maybe like the name doesn't make much sense.
Yeah.
But I just like the fact that okay, I can make like an immortal beast with it,
Hmm.
and just like it's a big block of ice there sitting and protecting my stuff.
All right.
And
I feel as if I need some backup on why this card is so bad. Like,
Oh yeah, please.
please, please, someone help me out because he's determined to say this card is well designed.
Well, if I may, Nick, first of all, the name is horrible. Yeah, we can all agree on that, even we like the card or not. But what I found most difficult is the whole theme that this beast you're designating card for is really immune all the time. When I read the card, first the mana cost was way too low for this thing that does, and I really thought about okay, make it immune like for one turn or until a next turn, and then it can maybe attack again or not. That was I'm not sure of, but the card, as I saw it right there, is really not good, not at all.
And StoThex, do you have any last words?
Yeah, I kind of agree. First of all, it's not clear if it's like unable to attack forever, and if so, like why? I mean, it just doesn't make sense. And by the way, Nydra, execute can't work because it's immune and at full health. So
all right. Oh, that's right. But
Oh, you're right.
oh, I was thinking about assassinate. Sorry, yeah. So I meant
yeah, I
assassinate
think
or crush, something like this, like hard removal.
I see. Yeah.
that would work. I think.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah. I think in conclusion, you're way wrong. You're way wrong, Nidra.
Okay, I'm
uh,
not gonna fight you too much about this card. I mean, it didn't make the cut, so I
it's
don't have
true.
to
It's
defend
true.
it.
All right. So now that we've thrown you under the bus, moving on. Our next card is, let's see if I can get this loaded up here. Oh my god, I have so many card images open. Oh, my computer doesn't
Yeah,
crash.
the Eye of Kilrog.
Yes,
Yeah.
Eye of Kilrog. The Eye of Kilrog is a rare warlock spell. It's for 2 mana. Enemy minions lose stealth, and then afterwards your opponent shuffles the leftmost card in their hand back into the deck. So I guess the thing is the card that you've been keeping, or maybe the card that maybe you haven't used, probably maybe like the highest mana card, goes back into the deck. Um, Jonas gave this card an 8 out of 10, and the rest of us gave it twos and threes. I would love to hear your mindset behind this.
Okay. First of all, when I read it again this evening before the stream, I thought myself, oh, maybe not. But the whole idea, it's a real annoying thing, really annoying thing. And with cards like, okay, it's not played it often, but Patient Assassin, Next Runner's Shade, all of this, I thought, okay, this is fun. This is really fun. Maybe it would make much more sense, we say, for 2 mana, because it's really low. The cost is really low, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
But what it said, like, all minions lose stealth, and then we add the rest of the card. It's like a really annoyance card. When I felt was like, okay, whoever designed it really made up his mind and said, okay, I want to design something that really catches my opponent off balance. And there are decks, especially Rogue, that play with stealth minions all the time and they annoy you so much. Why not?
Now, see, I guess the way I feel about this card is, first of all, I feel as if this card was designed to beat a Miracle Rogue. But, like, Miracle Rogue isn't really that prominent of a deck anymore, so it's like, alright, maybe this card is, like, a couple months late. But secondly, it just doesn't seem fun for me. Like you use one of your cards, and then your opponent gets rid of one of his cards, but not really because it goes back in his deck. So it's just a 1-for-1 hand disruption. That I don't know, just feels not very Hearthstone to me. What do you guys think?
If it would like um, destroy the left cards would be too powerful. But as you said, like it's not really generating any advantages. Like you say, Miracle Rock, I would actually go and say it's more anti-druid because of the shades.
Yeah.
And you can also, remove like on the leftmost cards of the druid, like in later stages, would usually be a combo piece. So you can reveal his shades, kill it, and then delay his combo. But I think it's way too specific to be a cool card. Like obviously, if you do this, and then you you clear his board, and then he cannot burst you down, it's amazing. But I don't know. I just feel it's way too specific. Like it doesn't have too many uses, I guess.
Yeah. And honestly, thematically, I feel like it should be a minion because the Eye of Kilrog is like, I don't know. It's like an object. It's like a minion. Maybe it's like a 0/1 minion.
Yeah.
And it would probably make more sense if you could reveal your hand. That might be interesting. I don't know. Yeah, I just don't like it. I don't know. This is why I'm rated it a 2. The card just doesn't seem fun to me. It doesn't seem niche. I mean, it's way too niche, and I would never put it in like any deck. I don't know.
If it was a minion and let's say every time it hit the enemy player, and then you got to shuffle the left card.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, and you make it like a super wimpy minion that basically dies easily. That I can see this working, but maybe then it's too powerful either way, because then you can make some shenanigans, and then it never dies, and then you keep shuffling cards and destroys your hand. And nobody really likes Hearthstone design is against hand disruption and mana crystal disruption. So it also goes against, how Blizzard want their games to be run.
Yeah. Any last words on this card?
Well, it feels like a worse flare. Like, the 1 mana flare was awesome, but now it's like, I don't know, I don't really want to play it. And this card is pretty much worse, I think.
And Flare was used to destroy secrets, not lose stealth most of the time. So maybe if you add destroy secrets as well, and then shuffle the hand, but then it gets way better Flare. So you cannot really do this.
Then it would be the new Flare, and old Flare was already busted enough.
Yeah.
I mean, cool card. I like the concept because the Eye of Kilrog is, I think, a really cool part of Warcraft lore. But oh well. Moving on. I still stand firm on my 2. Okay, the next card. Okay, now someone has to explain this card to me, because I thought it was like an anagram, and I tried to. Okay, so anyways, let's just say it first, so all of the people just listening can be just as confused as me. This is a 10 mana card, and it's a neutral spell, a legendary neutral spell, first of all, called Trat's Morph Hetaris. Okay.
First of all, you're retarded, because if you read every word backwards, it's start from scratch.
Oh my god, start from scratch.
That was the whole idea, I think. Yeah.
Start from well, it's starts from scratch backwards. I didn't know that. Okay, and now you can understand what the card does. For 10 mana, destroys all minions, underscores both players' hands, and change both heroes' health to 10. This card is so cancer. It's awful. No way. 0. This card would never be in the game, and it's not fun at all. And it's a neutral spell. Come on.
It's a legendary spell, though.
Yeah.
This is interesting.
This breaks every rule, and not in the good way. What do you guys think?
I think it's a way too powerful of a reset. I mean, I still have Deathwing, who's played very, very, very rarely. Yeah, but the idea is not only. I think I gave it really a 0 or 1. Yeah, one of these two. But when I read, okay, you destroy all minions, but both hands. Yeah, the entire hands are gone. So you basically start. You need only this card in your deck. Yeah, and if you're really in trouble, you do this and reset everything, and you're both on 10 health. No, simply no.
Yeah, not to mention it's so powerful with Death Rattle minions. Like literally, as long as you had
Yep.
Death Rattle minions on the board, you really start from scratch, but not really. You start the game with a bunch of 1/2 taunts and 2/1 harvest golems and all sorts of stuff. So you two gave it a 5 though. Me, and Jonas both gave it a 0 and a 1. So you guys have to defend this.
I think like the reason I gave it a 5 is this was actually the first card that was submitted. Yeah, so I was like in a good mood and like, okay, let's not start the contest on a on a 0, right? At least from my point of view. But I also like come from Magic the Gathering background where I really enjoy these heavy control, hard reset decks, and like I used to play Obliterate, I used to play Sway of the Stars, and
Yeah.
and it's like these cards really spoke to me. Looking back at it, probably I mean, it will never be made, right?
Never.
It will never appear in Hearthstone. So, like, if I believe it was good for the game, I would give it like a 7 or 8 or higher. But 5, okay, it's kind of fun. It's a restart effect. Obviously, I didn't think that Turtles would screw everything up, but I really kind of like these reboot cards, kind of like Tree of Life, but yeah, a bit more powerful, I guess.
Wait, what is this card called again backwards?
Start from
Start
scratch.
from scratch.
Scratch. That's it. Scratch. I'm like, wait, what is this word? Okay, scratch. Start from scratch. You know what? I give this card a 0 just because of the headache it gave me.
Okay, it's understandable.
All right,
Uh,
moving on.
There, then.
Yeah, moving on. Unless anyone has anything to say.
Not really. I agree with Nydra.
Hmm.
It's but to explain myself a bit better, 5 is for me already a bad score. So if I gave a card a 5, that's already
see.
kind of bad.
I
It's
see.
not average. It's bad in my eyes. So if
I
I
see.
gave a card less than 5, that's really bad.
All right, moving on. We got a lot of cards to cover. The next card is Astos the Dawn Rider. This is a priest minion, legendary priest minion for 5 mana, charge, and death rattle. And the death rattle is restore all minions to full health. This is a 7/1. This is a 7/1 charge for 5. That's pretty good. Yeah, what do you guys have to say about this card? I think I forg I forgot what we all scored on it, but I know there was definitely some contention. So who were the ones that liked it?
I liked it. It's just a bit different than any other priest card. First off, charge is not really an ability priest harbors, but this card gives either the option to trade something big or like finish.
Hmm.
Both stuff priest not really can with minions normally. So I thought it was interesting, and the death rattle is well okay.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it also is pretty interesting because my first thought was finally give priest a finisher to go with the Suicide Priest deck that is kind
Yep.
of a thing, not really, because there's so many cards like Mind Blast and the Shadow Bomber and that. And this is literally a card that in some ways sacrifices all board control. Maybe because you could possibly like restore health to every minion. But at the same time, I feel like it's the potential to be very, very unbroken. Because for 5 mana, you can basically deal 7 damage to like anything you want. And if you have a bunch, uh, if you have a bunch of damaged minions, you can draw cards from all the things. And I don't know. I think I did like this card, but it's very, very potentially broken.
I agree. I agree because when I saw it, I was not taken back by the death rattle. That also seemed okay for me, same as
Mhm.
Nico said before. But it was more the idea, like the damage output is so unstable. I found myself and looked at the segments, maybe it's a 4-2, and all the other like direct spells and direct damage cards the priest already has
Mhm.
and can use at their disposal. And then on top, we give them really their own charge minion.
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't. I felt really, as you said, Nick. That's a really unstable factor that you can bring to the game.
Mhm. It's very Leroy-esque in that
Yeah.
you probably won't
Yeah.
get any bad things happening because by the time you play this card, it's the last card you do to kill
Hmm.
them.
Yeah, but then again, like unlike Leroy, this is a priest card, so only priest can do it.
It's true.
And
Hmm.
when I was, I think I rated it 6 or 7 or something like this, just because it kind of escaped the usual priest play style of being slow and controlish and kind of
Mhm.
enables a shadow priest that everybody's trying to make, but nobody can really.
Yeah.
I think there was like another card that I also liked, like from the submissions, which said that all shadow cards, like with shadow in their name, cost less.
Oh,
So
yeah.
these are cards like, they fit a certain lore um, of a priest, like shadow priest or aggressive damaging priest. So this is one card that I liked,
Mhm.
Astos. So but I agree that it might be potentially be strong, but then again, like we aren't looking balanced under magnifying glass. Like
Yeah.
I mean, you can never know. How powerful Astos will be in one meta or another. Like obviously now it's like even now I cannot really say if it's if it's too powerful. Maybe it is. Maybe it
It'd
is.
probably be a pretty good answer to Dr. Boom, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
You know what? I feel as if this card we're talking about how it would play in like aggressive priest, but I think it'd actually have a better fit in a control priest deck. You know, like I don't see why a control priest wouldn't run this as just kind of
Yeah.
a standalone
An
answer.
extra removal. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, what do you think, Celtics?
I actually never thought about Dr. Boom. It's pretty nice if you have a board and run into the boom boards and not lose anything and then just run Astos into Dr. Boom. You have
Hmm.
pretty good board.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can also link it with Northshire Cleric, so you remove a card,
Yeah.
you kill your minions, get draws. Obviously, you need a lot of setup for this, but
Hmm.
if it works, it feels pretty sweet, I guess.
And
Yeah.
I think also ultimately I think this card gets a pass for me and it does good things because if a player were to open this, he or she would be like excited to try to
Yeah.
build around it, to try to use it, you know?
Well, I would totally start working on a deck right now if I could.
Yeah. All right, so cool. Astor's the Dawn Rider. Nice card. Moving on. I think I know what card's next. It's probably my favorite one. Yep, here it is. Captain Cookie. First of all, before I rave, this is a 6 mana legendary um Murloc pirate. So two of the best archetypes in the game merged. All right. Uh, it's a 4/4 and it has stealth. At the start of your turn, summon um a bluegill warrior, and that's the 2/1 Murloc with charge. Now, I personally think this card's awesome because I
Yeah.
really enjoy the choice it gives you. You can either play it and keep it stealthed and keep getting an army of Murlocs every turn that are probably buffed by your other Murloc cards. So, like it could be as good as like a 3/2 on bluegill or whatnot. But if you choose to actually like attack with it, then it loses stealth and it can't just sit there and give out little annoying murlocs. I just think this card's really cool.
Yeah, and it's not too cheap. Like you cannot drop it early and then start generating, an avalanche of chargers. So
Mhm.
it's like 6 o'clock. It's kind of like mid-rangey, and then by turn 6 or 7, it dies to a flame strike, so you can easily clear it. Like it dies to blade flurries, because blade flurries will be big at turn 6 or 7. So
Mhm.
it's quite balanced, and I really like the lore and the flavor. There's like a Murloc that's generating threats all the time, and you
Mhm.
kind of need to find a way to deal with it.
Yeah,
And
because that's
these
the.
traits are not like stupid strong. It's just like 2/1, but it's like extra 2 damage, or
Mhm.
an extra way to remove something. I would love, like, I bet hunters will love this. This should be like in every hunter deck.
Yeah. It's very similar to Hogger, which is probably why it's one of my favorite cards. Because
Yeah, but
I
it's
think
better.
Hogger is just the most fun card ever. What do you guys think?
It's better. Yeah. It's not a defensive card, but it's the fact that it has stealth is like a bit much, or maybe it's more like 4/4 are not really good stats for this card because there's only flame strike to kill it, or like a big blade flurry.
Mhm.
And if you just let it stay in stealth and never attack, it's almost impossible for the opponent to remove.
Mhm.
But besides that, it's a fun card.
Yeah, and I think the only thing that maybe I'm thinking, but maybe this would be too clever, is if instead of summoning a bluegill warrior, it summoned a new type of Murloc that was a pirate Murloc as well, but was the same like 2/1. So now
Hmm.
you could set off your ship cannons every time this thing goes on, and this really cool like synergistic deck. But what do you think, Jonas? I believe you scored these one kind of low.
Yeah, yeah, with reason, actually. I mean, I was, of course, immediately reminded of the Dead Mines, yeah, and
Hmm.
this funny Captain Cookie running there.
Yeah.
And it's a fun thing. It's a really fun thing. What I didn't like was really part one, the stealth factor for 4 minion.
Hmm.
That is really, really difficult to kill, as Nico already stated. And I know maybe that sounds lame, but I looked at the card and said, okay, we have Murlocs and we have pirates, and now we have a Murloc pirate, and it's a really fun thing to have. But it was more this hybrid that I don't think the game really needs. And as you already said, Nick, you all every turn you summon something basically for free,
Hmm.
and it's sitting there stealth, and it's so difficult to kill for the
Oh yeah.
opponent. I've found, yeah, it's a fun thing, and I love Captain Cookie, and I love the picture, of course, but not the card. Sorry.
Yeah, I think I think this I think I would like to see more cards that have dual types like that because,
Okay.
like the Murloc deck
Definitely.
is always a thing, the pirate deck's always a thing. I think it's cool that in one card you've kind of buffed both of those fun archetypes. But yeah, there's definitely it may be too good, but I guess the way I see it, I don't mind if pirates or like Murlocs are ever too good. Like I don't know, that sounds fun. But yeah, there's some contention. All right. So the next card is Tauren Shield Breaker. It's a 4 mana warrior epic minion. Battle cry. Everyone loses taunt, and you gain 2/2 for every taunt removed, and it's already a 3/3. Now I thought this card was just super good, super powerful. You can also give it haste, and from what we learned earlier in the game, lifespan, one turn kill warrior can be super powerful, and I don't know. I think that when you have a taunt, you feel really safe behind it, and this card can just like negate all of that and then give you a huge power swing. So I just think it's a little too powerful. But I think I'm in the a minority when it comes to this, right?
Yeah, I think you
True.
are. I mean, looking at it, obviously there's a problem if it gets charged from Morsan Commander, and then you can, set up the board so that it gets a lot of buffs from your own taunts. Like you can build like a taunting warrior actually, and then play this, buff it up, and I think it gets charged from Warsun Commander because it's played as 3/3, right? And then
Yeah.
it gets charged, and then it gets the buff. So then you swing for like a lot.
I think that actually doesn't work right now.
Okay.
Because either it's a bug or they changed it, but I don't think right now that this could work.
I
Okay.
think it must be a bug because I know there's that bug with when units are summoned, like from death rattles and stuff. They don't get haste anymore when that's a clear bug, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you sure about this?
Yeah, it's a pretty known bug. So if you have like a harvest golem and you give it haste with the Warsong commander, and then it's 2/1 that summoned, you'd think would get haste, as in it has throughout the whole lifespan of the game. Currently, it does not. That's a glitch.
Okay. But
Anyways,
still, like, I mean, Jonas, you like the card as well, right? The Shield Breaker.
Yeah, very much, very much. It's only when I look at it now again, after a few days after I rated it, of course, it's questionable that it's only a warrior card. If this ability is in the game, like the Blood Knight with a Divine Shield, then it should be really a neutral minion. But Nick is right to some degree. It is very powerful, and if you hide behind your taunts and really rely on them, this one card changes everything. And this for 4 mana. Yeah, I say it's a matter of discussion. It's not really clear right now, but it should not be for the warrior.
And it's so good versus handlock. Like it's so good versus handlock.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I think it's weaker than Blood Knight, in a way, at least. Because all towns that are played are a lot more heavier in mana cost than all the Divine Shields you would play. So it won't get too big, and it's actually 4 costs instead of 3 like the Blood Knight. So I think it's well designed, actually. It's the flair, like shield breaking and stuff, that's totally warrior style, I think. The stats seem fine, the mana cost seem fine, and if you play against ramp, well, wrecked.
Yeah. You know, it is pretty interesting to see how badly this card beats Mirror Image. It's just insane value.
Yeah.
Insane value. Anyways, all right. Moving on. Our next card here is Ravenous Imp. Now, I'm pretty sure I gave this card a 0. This card is a 2 mana, 2/2, a rare Warlock minion, and it's a demon, and it reads, whenever this card attacks, damage it would take is inflicted on your hero instead. I mean,
why are you giving it 0? It's so warlocky. Like it's a pestilential imp. First, it's a demon. It's an imp. It fits warlock so well, but also it can attack and it can do battles, and you suffer for it. So you're getting this live drain team of warlock. And also, why I like it so much is this effect only triggers in combat mad. Like it still dies to dark bombs, to frost bolts, to consecration, so it's not an immortal card.
I'll be honest, I misread the card entirely.
That's why. Also, if you attack it, it also doesn't work. So it will also die. So only when you attack, you suffer, and obviously it will be so good in Zoo because you can trade up with buffs. And then take damage for it. So it really requires a lot of planning and a lot of calculation about with your health.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I for some reason thought it was just a strictly worse Flame Imp, and that it would also take the damage. But now that I realize it says damage it would take is inflicted on your hero instead, which means this wouldn't take any damage.
Yep.
If you think about it, it's a lot like Shielded Minibot. Like it's a 2 mana 2/2 that's most likely 2 for 2. Like you can most likely trade at least 2 minions with it.
You mean 1 for 2, right?
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, now that I now that I read the card correctly, I think it's much better. It's very cool. I like it a lot. I'm definitely going. Okay, I want to go in and change my vote on this one
No.
because I want to.
No, the card got screwed.
Oh
So
man, all thanks to me. I'm so
it,
sorry, whoever made this card. I ruined you.
it was actually really close to the top 20.
Oh come
Okay,
on.
not very close, but yeah, I think if you gave it like a 5 or above, it would have made it. So
Oh no
yeah,
way.
whoever made this card, Nick,
Don't give me hate mail.
screwed you
You
out
should
because
have worded it more clearly. It should have said I don't know.
you,
It would,
yeah,
maybe it should have been worded when this card attacks, damage it would take is prevented and is inflicted on your hero instead, right? Like
it's still pretty clear text, man. You're just stupid.
I know. I just added a word. It makes okay, whatever. Moving on. I suck. Moving on. The next card is Spirit of Redemption. Now,
No,
this
it's
is a
hypnotic. Are we
interesting.
not talking about hypnotic blade? And because I really want to hear why do you any of you like this?
Oh,
So hypnotic blade. Let me just
Ah,
read.
yeah, the weapon. The weapon.
Yeah, the weapon.
okay,
Like I
wait.
think
Let
I
me
gave.
find the image for it. You guys keep talking about it. I'll find the image for it.
So this is I think one of the few zeros I gave. So hypnotic blade. It's a 5 mana weapon, 3/2. It says when you hit a minion with this weapon and it survives. So first of all, there's a problem here with the wording. So which one survives, the weapon or the minion? Either way, take control of it. Obviously, take control of the minion. So we have mind control, 2 mind controls for 5 mana, which also deal damage. So some of you guys didn't give this a 0, and I want to know why.
All right, well here, let me put. Okay, so now you guys can see it. 5 mana, epic rogue weapon for 3/2. When you hit minion, this weapon. You know, I guess my thinking behind it is all right. It's a 5 mana 3/2, right? And I know the mind control is crazy, but I guess I was thinking when you hit a minion, if there's a minion with more than 3 health, I guess you take a lot of damage. You know what? Honestly, now that you described it in such a way, I can't really defend it. I guess I thought that you'd be
And
getting
it's a
a
neutral
minion.
weapon first, most of all. It doesn't have a class as far as either I'm blind or it's oh no, it's a warrior, right?
No, well, this is a
It's
rogue
a
because
rogue.
the thing's black.
Okay, so it's a
And
so
I defend the weapon. I find it's really cool.
okay.
I mean, it's
How
probably
you
broken though. Like it is probably broken. I think it needs to be 7 mana.
No, I don't think so. For a variety of reasons. One, 5 mana weapon. You don't use a 5 mana weapon. Yeah, at this term, you do a lot of other things. Yeah, you're on the board. And when I play with weapons, there's Assassin's Blade, and all the other things. And yes, okay, you do control them, but you take them the damage as well. So let's say you have 5 mana, then you take all the damage in, and then you have a damaged minion on your side. No, I don't know. I think okay, in this current variation, I would not release it in the game. Definitely not. But I
Okay.
think the idea is awesome.
Would it
Yeah.
be more balanced if it was a 3/1? It had one durability.
Possibly.
Yeah, possibly. Like the fact that you can actually get 2 triggers out of it, and I mean it makes it broken. Like if you see rogues are running like heal bots right now, so who cares that you take damage? I mean you get a minion, then you heal up with heal bot again, and suddenly you have this huge forward, and the other guy has nothing.
I think
So
it
it's
would clearly be the best arena card ever made.
oh yeah.
Right. This would dominate arena. All right. Okay. Well, I think you've swayed me a bit. I would lower it, but I still think it's a cool concept. But
Yeah.
it seems
I
very
agree.
very powerful.
You know what I would actually do? I would actually make it a priest card. I would make it until end of turn. So you hit minions, you steal them, and then you throw them the other guy's ways.
That's
So
pretty cool.
No, I would not agree because I thought the whole hypnotic thing goes in the idea that rogues deal with poison, and most of the time we have now poisons that kill. But I interpreted this one really as like mind control poison that your opponent does things for you. That's why I found it cool.
Okay.
So rogue is not always directly okay, I kill you.
Although Hypnotic Blade in WoW was a caster dagger, so there's some lore issues. Anyways,
You're right. It was an item. Yeah.
yeah, it was 8 intellect, I believe some crit and 10 spell damage, level 39, I think. I don't know. Oh wait, whoa, there goes the video feed. Anyways, so next card, Spirit of Redemption. This is an 11 mana priest card, legendary card, a 7/7, and whenever you summon this minion from your hand. Oh no. It says summon this minion from your hand when you take fatal damage, and then set your health to 7. Now, I think this card is super cool.
This is my only 10 in the grading.
Yeah.
I love it.
I think this card fits the theme with the actual spell. It was always one of the most iconic pre-spells in WoW. You know, it was so visual, you always see it. You always knew they were a holy priest, or was it a disciplined priest? I forgot. But you always knew that, this was such a priest ability. And I think it's very clever that the card cast 11 mana, meaning that you can't actually play it. I think that's the only thing I would change about it. I think I would put it to 10 mana, just so it's not dead in your hand and you could still play it as like a really poorly costed 7/7. Other than that, I think it's good.
That's actually one of the things that balance it a bit.
Yep.
So if you put it in your deck, you either get the effect or it's a dead card, and that makes it kind of okay, I think. Because if it was like 10 or 9 mana, you could just put it out if you need to, and I don't know, but just like it is now, it's totally cool.
It is cool, and it does create kind of an alternate style of play with Priest. But then again, it would just make Control Priest that much better. Like, man, this card would be powerful in Control Priest.
I think somebody on Reddit. I'm not sure if I entered this argument or not.
I did. I answered most of them.
Yeah, there was one guy that was said this is way more powerful Ice Block.
No,
which is so wrong for several reasons. Because first of all, Ice Block is cheaper. Second of all, you can get it for free with Med Scientist. Third of all, Ice Block makes you immune. And Spirit of Redemption, you can only have one of it.
Yeah.
It needs to be in your hand. It doesn't make you immune. It gives you a 7/7 minion, okay, but that dies to Big Game Hunter.
Yeah.
And
Shadow Word Death.
It dies to everything. And especially like when you take fatal damage, it's already turn 12, 13 with Priest. And the fact that smart guys can still trigger it and then finish you off.
Of course,
So I think it's one of the most balanced cards we had so far. Because
it's interesting.
It fits the priest lore very well. It does what Spirit of Redemption actually does in the game. Like it revives a guard, buys him extra time, but he will still die eventually, right? And it's not imba. I can definitely see this game being actually implemented right now in the game and working.
Yeah, I think it's interesting too because now every time you're trying to finish off a priest, you have to do the math to try to, leave them with 1 health and then finish them with 7 health left. Because if this would work mechanically the same as Ice Block, you could waste a very large attack if you use that to kill him,
Well, that card would actually increase the skill cap for the game, which is something I would like to see actually, because it's already pretty easy. I mean, it's not pretty easy to play perfectly, but
Mhm.
it's easy to play good, like
Yeah,
really
yeah.
well. So, the only problem I see is like the old discussion, like, yeah, it's in every priest deck,
Yeah.
like with Novice Engineer before it was nerfed.
Mhm.
Like a card that's just in every priest deck. Or in case of Novice Engineer, it was in every deck.
This would
So,
definitely, I think, be
but
and
like Northshire is in every priest deck, so this shouldn't get nerfed as well, right? I think like if this was a neutral minion, obviously it wouldn't work. But the fact that it's priest only, I think it's fine. Jonas,
yeah.
what do you think?
I don't think Blizzard would change it. It's just like a lot of cryouts for it, like always.
Mm. All right. Well, I think yeah. I think overall, really solid card. Nice design. I think it's really thematic. Moving on. Now here's one that there's some contention on. 8 mana, warrior, legendary, high overlord Sarfang. It's a 10/10 with taunt, and it can't be targeted by spells or heroes or hero powers. So this is the ultimate you must kill me in combat card, which obviously fits is a very thematic thing. What do
Just
you guys
Because
let
it's
think?
me
broken.
just let me comment on this, and then we can move on.
Yeah,
Like
sure.
people don't design cards like that. That's just busted.
Mhm.
Really. The only thing that kills it is like Black Knight, silence in combination with Big Game Hunter or combat damage, and that's
Mhm.
like totally bullshit.
Yeah.
First of all, 8 mana 10/10 is so way above the vanilla decks,
Yeah,
right? Even
yeah.
if it didn't have all the other shit, it's so unbelievably broken. Like, I think we actually wrote this in our post, like, don't design obviously broken cards because they won't get
Yeah,
you
you wrote
into the
that.
top 20. It's it's obviously broken, like you cannot possibly defend this card. What
Yeah.
you can say, oh, it will have taunt, so you have to attack it. Even if it
No.
didn't have taunt, you would still attack it because it's a
Yeah.
goddamn 10/10.
There's no
For 8
downsides.
mana, it's no, not
Yeah.
a downside.
Not a single downside.
Yeah,
And every single warrior would play it, and your
absolutely.
warrior deck would be worse if you didn't have it, which as a player feels awful because now you don't have a choice between
Um,
the legendaries you want. You have to get
I
this legendary.
I actually just realized Big Game Hunter kills it because it's not a spell or hero power.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, and
But it's still busted because 8 mana 10/10 is still way over the top.
yeah.
Yeah.
And do we really want cards that require more Black Knights and more big game hunters? It's like, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, it's like you
Exactly.
can't just
Yeah,
say a card's
that,
balanced
that,
because it's
yeah, that
yeah.
kills it.
Everything's killable. Everything's killable. But
Yeah, but if this card was in the game, like you could just not play any control decks with like heavy drops like Ragnaros or so.
Hmm.
It's like it wouldn't be possible because of all the hate cards just for this one.
Yeah, insane. All right, well, yeah, I think we can move on, right? This card's pretty broken.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Next card is is Destroyer, which is a priest spell, legendary priest spell, 0 mana, destroy all legendary cards from both players' decks.
Yeah, come
Most
on, really.
ridiculous thing ever.
That's just bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a card designed by somebody who's been losing to Control Warrior on ladder, and one day said, "Okay, I'm sick of it. I'm designing
Yeah.
a 0 mana spell to
Mhm.
beat my opponent."
Yeah.
So what happens is you build any priest deck, like with no legendaries.
Mhm.
You get a Control Warrior. You play this on turn 1 and win the game. The
Yep.
other guy concedes.
Win the game immediately.
So yeah, 0 mana, win the game.
Actually,
you.
played on turn 3, Sword Steel and then played, so you
I
Oh,
can
yeah,
see.
right.
still, you know.
Thoughts still and
It's a
play it.
bullshit design. It's really a bullshit design.
Yeah.
It serves no purpose.
And the
Well,
thing is, the the problem with this is that it would basically make priest. It would create like it wouldn't even be a priest deck because you would just be using all of the basic non-legendary cards. This would just completely break the meta. It would just ruin
Yeah.
decks. It would be insane in ladder. Maybe it wouldn't, maybe it would, but it's just so broken. It's not fun either. It's not fun at all. Like this is just not fun.
Let's just be honest here. 0 mana cost spells or cards are pretty shitty already in the sense of that they are not very healthy for the game. And a card that destroys just one card for 0 mana would be so incredibly broken. And this card destroys all legendary cards. It's like it's really off the charts.
Every deck has at least one legendary, right? Like even even the most budget decks like Hunter, Hunter.
Maybe not Zoo.
All right, so okay, guys. So the real challenge though, how do we make this card balanced? What do you have to do?
We don't include it all.
There's no way.
There's nothing.
Some cards are not made.
Yeah.
There's nothing you could do like to balance it out. It can cost 0 mana. It can destroy all legendaries, and especially not from both decks or from the deck at all. So.
Yeah, it's just too crazy. Like, Priest doesn't need this.
It would be like, I don't know. I don't even want to think about how we can fix it. It's just a bullshit design. It targets something very specifically just because somebody's sick of losing to legendaries.
All right. Next card. Okay, here's one to make us all feel better. This card, a Magma Totem. I actually really like this card. It's a 2 mana Shaman rare. It's a 0/3 totem, meaning it can get buffed by all sorts of totem things and a totemic might and stuff like that. And it says, at the start of your turn, deal 1 damage for every overloaded mana you have to a random enemy. Overload 1. I think this card is super cool, and I think it's.
Wasn't there like another Magma Totem? In
Was there?
There were 2.
Yeah.
Oh, there were 2.
So.
Oh wow. Well.
I don't know.
Well, this is
No.
Well, this is the Magma Totem that I think is notable, and I think we had pretty high scores all around for this, right?
It didn't make top 20 by 1 point.
Oh my gosh!
This is how close it was, and
yeah.
I think you, Jonas, rated it low, and Grace, who is not here, also. Oh, no,
I rated it with 5.
Okay, so only Christian, one of our guys, he rated it with a 2. So I will probably seek answers from him.
Yeah, I think this card's really cool because it really allows shamans to, build a cool deck, and you can do creative things with this. And it's like there was never really any strategic worth from overloading yourself for like a huge amounts of mana, but now there is. Now you could actually think about playing a lot of overload cards and kind of sacrificing your next turn for this huge burst of damage.
Yeah. Well, when I'm looking at this card, I also want to get back to the the point where we discuss how a card actually fits the flavor of the class, and this fits on so many levels. First of all, it's a totem. It overloads you, which is a shaman mechanic. Then it uses the shaman mechanic to deal random damage, which is also something very shamany. It's so unpredictable but so cool at the same time. I love it. I don't care if it will be strong or weak, like in a specific meta, but it's so shamany that like there's no better shaman card in terms of flavor right now in the game. I think this is one of the best.
Yeah, I like it.
I actually found the other card that's really similar. It's in the top 20s actually. It's
really?
a Fire Nova Totem.
Oh,
what does that do?
Was the one that had a similar to Doomsayer effect or something like this, right?
That reads like 2 mana, 0/2 totem. At the end of your turn, destroy all your totems. Deal 1 damage to all enemies for each totem destroyed.
Ah, yes. Now I remember this. Now I actually think, yeah, because that was in the same mindset, and I think that's cool because oftentimes shaman players, there's a point where you just have like 3 or 4 totems, and you wish you could do something cool with it, you know?
Yep.
And I think that's a really cool thing. And the thing is, it forces other players, kind of like what you have to do now when you're fighting a paladin, and it's almost gonna be turn 5, and he has recruits up. You need to make the choice of, do I kill them all now in fear of them getting buffed? It's that same thing with totems. Like, do I have to clear totems in fear that he has a magma totem? And I think that's a really cool choice that's brought into the game.
I think both of these totems are pretty cool.
Yep.
All right, well, moving on. Cool magma totem. Here's a card that I think you scored pretty low. Was it Jonas or you, Ninja?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did, and I remember why.
So this is a 3 mana warrior weapon, Gladiator Shield, which is something you will find in every single Hearthstone card creation, whatever. People are always trying to make shields happen. So this is an epic weapon, and it reads: this weapon's attack is always equal to your hero's armor, and you can only target minions with it. And it's a 0/2, so you can get 2 shots of it. I think this card's a pretty cool take on the shield. What do you think, Jonas?
Okay, first, when I first saw it, shield associated with paladins. Maybe I played too much WoW, yeah, but this was my first thought. And then reading text, weapons attack is always equal to hero's armor, can only target minions. Things as armor smiths and things like the heroic ability of the warrior itself makes it really, really powerful. Of course, it's only a different kind of weapon, but since Armor Smith is played so much, I think this would be really unbalanced, and you could really knock out face. I mean, okay, it's only minions, but since people always stack up their armor so fast, I'm really not convinced. And as I said at the start, paladins have shields, warriors have axes.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think, Ninja?
I agree that it's powerful. Okay. Obviously because it can be a very good all throughout the game, right? Because from early on you have armor, right? I mean, by turn 3 you have at least 4 armor if you don't swing with war axes. Like if you get a like a control matchup, this will hit for a lot. Like let's say you get a warrior versus warrior, and who gets this first will probably win because, oh, Ragnaros, okay, I kill it for 3 mana because you have so much armor.
Yeah.
Against priests as well, priests cannot burn you, so you just, and they don't have many high health minions outside from injured Blade Master when he's healed, but this will kill it as well. But again, like I favor flavor a lot, so this fits very, very nicely. It has, some restrictions, like obviously you can burn and chip away at armor to reduce its attack. It cannot hit full face because that would be stupid strong.
Yeah.
It's kind of like okay, shield slam on a stick, right?
Yeah.
As a weapon, so that's kind of cool. And shield slam is not OP. I think actually shield slam might be even better because
you don't take damage. Yeah,
you don't take damage, and you can shield block shield slam for 4 mana. But this has 2 charges, so I think it's strong, but I don't think it's broken.
Yeah, it does give warriors a lot of removal options.
Yeah.
Because this is more so than like a normal weapon. You're probably going to be swinging for like 10, 9, like 11 on your average, like, turn 8. So if you view this as like a late game card, it's like a very cheap version of Gorehowl that may be a little bit better. Yeah.
I think it's better than Gorehowl.
Yeah, it probably is.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, the jury's still out on shields in general. Some people really want them in the game. Like they think it's just, you know, like shields are a very big part of, warriors and paladins, but who knows? All right, moving on. Gnomish Purifier. This is a 4 mana gnome, which is strange because gnomes really don't have a card type, but it does now. And there's a battle cry. Remove silence from a minion. This is a 2/4 for 4, rare.
I actually answered the question on Reddit about this card. So I think the way we all saw it is like if there's a minion with an effect and you buff it with, I don't know, whatever. It gets +1/+1/+1, for example, and you silence it. Then you play Gnomish Purifier. It basically does the same as Reincarnate, except it doesn't restore health. So
yeah, it takes away the
because
silence.
it takes away the silence and returns the minion to the original state, except for health. If it lost health before, that still stands as it is.
Now, I think this card's cool, and I like the concept of there's something you can do about silence, but I think the body is actually a little too good. Because if you think about the scenario in which, say you've just played a Tyrion, right? And then you next turn get silenced with an owl. So all right, sure, your Tyrion's been countered. If you then next turn play a Gnomish Purifier, not only do you still have your Tyrion, which is now unsilenced, so it goes back to having taunts like in Divine Shield, but you have a better body than their owl. So it's like the player who responds with the remove silence is almost always in a better situation than the player who silenced in the first place, which creates a very strange dynamic because you should be rewarded for playing silences and waiting for a really good target,
I agree, and I think I really like the card first of all. But I thought that if we take the whole card and just make the battle cry, switch it up into a death rattle, yeah, then it would make much more sense because the idea of really restoring a silence minion is really needed. Is really needed, and not only like in the Tyrion sense, but so many others that are out there. But yeah, Battle Cry is too powerful. But apart from this, if we change this, I really would like to see this card in the game.
This is why I rated it high, because there isn't such an effect, and it does it in a very elegant way, right? It doesn't try to be fancy. Just say, okay, Battle Cry, we remove a silence. It's a simple design, and I like it.
It's good, yeah. It's cool, and I think I can definitely, and I believe I also voted this like relatively high. I just think that it kind of invalidates the decision on whether or not you would run silence, because if they run Gnomish Purifier, you're in like a 10 times worse situation than if you just didn't run silence at all and didn't give them value,
Yeah.
So it's almost like, why even bother playing cards that have silence? But yeah, I think if this minion was made a bit like weaker, I think it would be just the right spot.
Yep.
Agreed.
All right, well, moving on to that. Oh, this card's cool, and I think we all agree this card's cool. This is actually, we're now getting in some of the top 10. These are the top 10 cards. Holy Shadala. This is a legendary priest card, which is funny. A lot of these cards have been like legendary priest cards. It's a 4/7 minion, and every time a character is healed, you can add a Holy Smite to your hand. I mean, what do you guys think? I think it's a cool card.
That's a pretty nice card, actually. It's super nice. like mid-range card against aggro decks
Hmm.
because you just add and add and add new removal spells.
Hmm.
Uh, go on, go on.
Yeah, and I really like the concept of, I believe we've like mentioned this before. Priest was always one of those classes in WoW that could be very aggressive at the same time. You know, and I think more cards that like focus on that type of like holy damage, really, like aggressive, lots of smites. Smite is such an iconic priest spell. I think it's cool to be attached to like legendary cards, so we can see games in which there's this priest with like six smites in their hand, and they're just like smiting everything, which is not even probably as powerful as what's the mage legendary card? I forgot his name for some reason.
Titus?
Yeah, yeah. So like
Antonidas.
it's like it's not quite as powerful, but because it's more like mid-rangey, I think it makes sense.
Jonas, you actually rated it, gave it one of the lower scores. I
Yeah.
think you gave it 5. Do you think it's because it can snowball with all the smites and like you can circle of healing stuff and then you just like, wow, you have 7 smites and then you just pew pew?
Not only that. I mean, I'm okay with that. If you heal, there's some effect.
Mhm.
But like the 7 health, that really bugged me a lot because once it's there, you really have to use a hardcore removal card, like sabotage or equivalence, to really get rid of it. Because once it's there and you want to start healing, these holy smites will really kick you. And no, I think, yeah, 5 was okay because I thought it was nicely designed, but not in this current state.
Hmm.
Maybe
Yeah,
4 or 5 if it was a 4 or 5.
If it's
yeah.
a 4-5, then I would say it's okay.
Yep. Yeah, I can see a reason here. I think 7 health might be a bit too much, especially in priest, because
I'm
like I mean, it's one shadow power word shield away from becoming almost unkillable. Like 4/9, it's like okay,
Yeah.
this thing never dies unless to hard removal.
Mhm.
So yeah, 4/5 maybe just the right spot. 4/6 maybe, yeah.
All right. Moving on. I believe is this my favorite card? Okay, no, almost. We're almost to my favorite card. All right. So this is a rogue legendary, which we haven't really seen much of. It's cool to see this in the top 10. This is an 8 mana minion. Um, Mortok Sharp Dagger, which I actually don't know. This is one of the few that I don't know where he's from in terms of Warcraft lore. Somebody, one of you guys, can tell me.
No idea.
And his battle cry is you put an Assassin's Blade in your hand, which is the 5 mana rogue weapon, and the combo is equipped it instead, which I think is just so cool and so flavorful. Like that, if you combo with it, which is kind of hard to do because it's 8 mana, you'd need to save a backstab or some other, like low mana card. You can equip it. So this card is super cool. It's super flavorful. I love the art for it. I think it's awesome. What do you guys think?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's I haven't seen any strong late game rogue cards really like minions. Uh, I mean, and they're all their legendaries are either early game or mid range because you usually play Edwin, for early big body. They didn't
Mhm.
have Gallywix, who is also on the transition between the mid game and the late game, but more I
Mhm.
guess strictly late game minion, 8 mana, and in order to have it in full effect, you have to play a spell before it. So if you don't have like a backstab, you need like a other cheap spells. So you need to delay it till like turn 9 or 10, and
Mhm.
then like the body is not that strong to make it broken. But
Yeah.
the fact that you can add more punching power to late game rogue makes it really good for me. But then again, I don't play rogue, so maybe I'm absolutely wrong.
Well, I think thematically one of the cool things I like about this is that we already have some rogue legendary minions that try to represent the different kind of ways that a rogue wins. You have Edward Van Cleef, which is that combo rogue, many spells in one turn, and then this huge thing. And then you have the new one from Goblins versus Gnome, which is kind of like tempo gains, card advantage. Kind of punishes your opponent for trying to do something to you. But I really like how this manages to be a huge tempo swing if you like manage to play it on turn 7 with the coin, and I think it's cool that like the rogue win condition would be card advantage and tempo in one if you manage to combo it. And I think it's totally unbalanced. It doesn't seem too powerful.
I like my rogue, but I was so not sure. I mean, the art is awesome, and I know I don't know where Mortok is from, World of Warcraft. I don't. But like the idea to play preparation, backstep, or anything before, and then for 8 mana have the weapon ready and the 4/7.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed unreasonable because let's say you have a weapon, in this turn, you play it, then you Blade Flurry, then you play preparation, and then this guy, then you have the weapon and him on the board. I don't know. You essentially cleared the board and you're ready to hit face again. I mean, of course, it's really late game, as you said, but I was not convinced.
See, in my eyes, what you described is exactly how Rogue, I think, should be like made in Hearthstone. Like that whole like sequence that's a really combo oriented thing sounds as if like that's why players want to play Rogue because they want to feel like they're doing cool combos. But yeah, it could be too strong. I think the 8 mana makes it safe though. I don't know. Oh well.
Yeah.
Moving on, because obviously all of these cards are going to warrant like much discussion because these are in the top 10. So these are all the cards that we've like rated the highest in terms of balance. Moving on, we have Phoenix Knight, which is such a cool card. Oh my god! So this is
Absolutely.
a 4 mana 4/2. It's a Paladin epic, and its death rattle is if you have a weapon, remove 1 durability from it and resummon this minion. I mean, this card gets so many flavor wins because it's a Phoenix Knight. It's like coming back to life. I really like how it forces you to choose between using your last weapon or saving it. I like how your opponent can play around it by just not killing it. So then you kind of have your weapon stuck, not using it forever because you want to get value. I just think it's a really cool card, and I think it's aggressively costed, so it would probably see play.
I would say it's actually a bit too cheap right now because GVG just got at least 3 more weapons to Paladin decks, like the 2 from Master for Battle and what's the name of the one that gives
Cockhammer.
yeah, Cockhammer. And now you would have 5 weapons in the deck, and for 4 mana, for 2, that's basically coming back every time.
Yeah.
Could be a bit too strong, but it's still really well designed, so I really like it.
Yeah, it's I like it because obviously with some weapons you cannot, really take advantage of it. Obviously you don't want to burn a true silver charge for it. But at the same time you can with the Master for Battle weapons, what was it like Let's Justice or something?
Yeah.
It becomes so persistent, but at the same time it's easy to kill, right? So I don't know, like I agree that it might be too cheap. I think like 5 mana could be good just because it creates it pushes it a turn back and it creates some less opportunities to be abused and become really immortal.
Yeah, I think Muster for a battle and then after this, kind of what you're saying is just really, really, really powerful.
Yeah. Like if there wasn't Muster for Battle in the game, these cards would be one of the most best designed cards, I think, because the other choices are True Silver and you don't want to burn it. Then you have Sword of Justice, which creates actually a cool iteration,
That is cool.
right?
Yeah.
And then the other one is just a simple Edge Justice. So it's a crappy weapon, but it becomes amazing with this card. So it
Yeah.
actually makes bad cards good, and it makes fantastic cards less good,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
in the True Silver. So I think the only problem here is we have free weapons from Masterful Battle, and Masterful Battle is broken as well. So kind of we cannot really blame Phoenix Knight here, right?
Yeah. All right. Cool. Cool card, though. You're right. At this meta, aggressive paladin strategies probably don't need another tool and another turn 4 play.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like it's another 4-drop, and Paladin already has a lot of good
mhm,
options for that spot.
Yeah. All right. Well, moving on. Next card, Soul Devourer. This is a 7-mana warlock. Legendary. At the end of your turn, deal 4 damage to a random enemy minion. If that kills it, gain +1/+1. I feel like this is a cool card. It's almost like a warlock version of Ragnaros, so to speak. I think it's
Hmm.
powerful. There's no drawback though. There's no drawback, and I think warlock legendary that looks like this and is called Soul Devourer, there should be at least some sort of like negative warlock sacrifice around self for power. That's the only complaint I have about this card.
Yeah,
Otherwise, I think
agree.
it's really cool.
it should probably ping you for like 2 damage
Yeah,
or so.
I was actually going to say that. Like,
Yeah.
if it doesn't kill, ping it for 2 damage or something, and that would balance it perfectly. I think that this is the only issue I also had.
Yeah, because like it's trying to devour souls, and if it doesn't be successful in devouring a soul, it like starves. It gets weaker, rather than if it does, it gets stronger. I think that's definitely something that you would want to put on this card.
I did not see it as like an equivalent to Ragnaros. I thought it's way too powerful because it can really attack and deals damage at the same time.
Hmm
So even if you would add the like drain life idea, which is implemented in so many Warlock cards, I mean would fit the theme. And of course, Soul Devourer, yeah, of course these people they're doing this, but I think that is a 5/5 for 7 makes it too powerful.
Hmm. And also, it probably should be a demon. It's not listed on the card
Yeah,
as a demon.
probably it should
Oh,
be a deal.
right.
Yeah, I mean that's probably just a mistake on the person who did it, but oh well. All right, Are you guys ready? The next card is my favorite card. It's the one that I hope wins. I think it's awesome. Tyrande, Whisperwind, 8 mana, 5/4, Druid card. Choose one. This is a legendary. Choose one. Deal 5 damage or deal 2 damage to all enemy minions. I think this card, like, it's just so flavorful. The only thing that maybe not be flavorful is like, is it really a Druid card? Because like
Oh, it's
Tyrande,
definitely
is
a
she
Druid
really?
card.
I don't know. But anyways, I think it's so cool that you can. This is basically Starfall on a body, and Tyrande like Starfall was her thing from like Warcraft 3. It was like her ultimate,
Yeah,
and I just thought it was really cool how it's very simple, very clean. I think it's very powerful, and I think players can immediately like understand it, and it's just a really solid card.
I had a lot of fun with Starfall and Warcraft 3.
Hmm
Mhm.
So what do you
Uh,
guys think?
well, except for the fact that it's not really like you said, it's not really a druid card
Yeah.
because she's like a priest, right?
Well, yeah,
Or
it's weird. She would be
Yeah,
like a
he is.
hunter slash priest. It feels weird because she's not a druid. Well, like Malfurion's not. Like he is a druid. Cards like Malorn, like cards like them are purely rooted in like druid lord. But like Tyrande is just a night elf.
Yeah.
Like
Wait, but you can really adjust the lore because after the Cataclysm, when Malfurion came back, and they both joined. I think they had a wedding. They really share both the power of the night elves now. And yes, first of all, Tyrande is not initially like a druid, but she works with them all the time, and she's married to one. So I would be able to justify it now.
Yeah, it's true. She is with Malfurion, so that's kind of cool.
And she does cast Starfall, which is a druid card, so this is why I feel like it's okay to be a druid.
Well, I mean, I think it's just so clean, and I think 5/4 is the perfect body because you already get the powerful battle cry. So if this minion was even more powerful as it stayed on the board, then it would be broken. Like if this was like a 5/6 or even like a 4/6, then it would be like too good. But the 4 health is a really solid number.
If you think about it, it's like it's really well costed because Starfall costs 5, and like the Children Deity, that's 4/5, is cost 4, so 8 is pretty nice costed for that.
Yeah, it's like a powerful card.
I think the only issue I think I have, but it's not too big of a deal breaker, and somebody on Reddit also mentioned it, is the 5 damage can actually go anywhere. So it's not just minion as the Starfall card. So it can actually it actually acts as another reach card for druids outside swipe. So this might make it a bit more powerful, but I don't really think this is beyond broken or something.
Yeah.
I actually really like it. As you said, it's clean and it does what Tyrande does in the game, right? She casts Starfall. Yeah. And here she is casting Starfall. It doesn't do anything fancy. It's clean design.
All right. Here's our last card for review. Yrel. How do you say this? Yrel?
Yrel.
Anyways, this is a paladin legendary card. I'm Divine Shield. Whenever a friendly minion loses Divine Shield, give it 3 health. I think that's just like I've never seen that mechanic in Hearthstone. Like something positive happens when they lose Divine Shield. There's only negative things that happen with Blood Knight, and I think it's cool that once you have your 3/1 Scarlet Crusader, I think it's so cool that if she somehow manages to live to where you can play like a 7-drop, or if you just play it right with her on turn 10, all of a sudden it makes it much more an interesting dynamic of how you get rid of it, because you can't just ping the shield anymore because now it's a 3/4. Yeah, I think it's a super powerful card, but again, not too powerful because it has 4 health.
Yeah.
Now, actually, you know what? Would this also trigger on her? So whenever she gets rid of her own Divine Shield, she becomes a 6/7?
When a friendly minion. So it says really accept her. Otherwise, it would have stated in the game text when any minion loses loses Divine Shield.
So it's
when another friendly minion.
It should work on her. It should work on her. So you can actually ping her and make her 6/7 for 7. I think it's really good. Like as I said, I've been saying that I like cards that fit the class flavor, and this is right there. I mean, it gives health, so and it interacts with Divine Shield. It's so paladin that it's just good, clean design.
And I'm pretty sure this would be the first Draenei minion, right?
I mean, in the top 20.
No, just the
no,
first.
No, he is right.
The first Draenei minion in the game.
No.
Yeah, we don't. Which one do we have?
The Priest Legendary, the first one.
Yeah.
Isn't that like also?
Yeah.
That's a Draenei?
Velen?
Yeah, Velen is a Draenei, yeah.
I didn't know Velen was a Draenei. Wow, I just got schooled on some lore. Is that the only one?
Our Velen, the Prophet Velen. Yeah, Nico is right, because when Zagreus came to the Draenei and wanted to persuade them all, Velen was the only one that fled them, because he was afraid what all the things he could do. But yes, right, of course, he's a normal Draenei. It's
You
not
actually
corrupted.
got schooled by someone that never plays World of Warcraft.
Oh man.
But you read all of this stuff, of course.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man. Well, yeah. There you have it. Those are.
Wrecked.
I'm sorry. What was that?
Wrecked.
Oh yeah, I got wrecked. I got lore wrecked. Well, there you have it. Thank you so much for listening, guys. Be sure to check out Gosugamers.net to see when we post the winners and see which cards that we like talked about actually win our cool prizes. We got all sorts of Hearthstone swag. Hopefully you guys can get. And be sure to be on the lookout for a future card design contest. I know we had a lot of fun grading these. There's over like 250, right? Like how much? How
Yeah,
many
I
cards?
mean,
Yeah.
this is something we should mention here. Don't send us more than one card
Yeah.
because
Yeah, a good idea.
we're just not go. I'm just not going to include them, right? Because there was one email with I think 33 or 34 cards. Like,
Wow.
come on, it was in the rules, right? Don't send us more than one card. Also, don't.
Actually, I had to clarify the rules later on. So
Okay, yeah, sure, but
it was just not perfectly clear when we put out the article
okay,
on the announcement.
fair enough. Also, as you see, I'm not sure how many read my tweet while I was grading the cards, but don't send us Magic the Gathering ripoffs. We've all played Magic the Gathering, and we know a ripoff when we see one. This only shows you have no original idea about a card design, right? I mean, I've seen like a couple of Dark Confidence. I've seen
Yeah.
Fantastic Glyphs.
Some Dark Confidence.
all
There was a
that.
lot of
Yeah.
them.
So just please don't rip off Magic Gathering. Please show that you have an original thought and make some cool designs, okay?
Actually, I kind of disagree, but with like one exception, you really have to transform them into Hearthstone cards. A 2/1 Dark Confident in Hearthstone is a shit card.
Mhm.
Really, it's worse than Loot Hoarder and pretty much any other 2-drop. But if you like really transform them into like a playable Hearthstone card, I wouldn't say no. To be honest.
Sure. Yeah, of course I'm not forbidding them sending
Yeah.
Magic Gathering ripoffs, but I know that instinctively I will always rate it low because okay, this shows no creativity, and I can always copy a Magic Gathering card and make it a Hearthstone. Maybe tune
Yeah,
it a
sure.
bit, but it's
And no
it's a risk.
neutral
It's a big
spells.
risk.
No neutral spells. Stop at the neutral spells. It's not gonna happen. So, and there's very good reasons as to why they're not. Anyways, so yeah, again, shout outs to Gosugamers. Yeah, thank you so much for listening to HearthCenter.
Wait.
Oh yeah, no, oops, sorry. Yeah, there's more. Don't even listen.
Yeah. There's like 2 more things. First of all, we will have themes and restrictions for further contests, so neutral spells won't happen again. And we will actually do an AMA on Reddit on the 1st of March, so you can ask your questions about the contest and the crew and stuff like that. And I just wanted to shout it out to the people.
Cool. Do
Okay.
we have any more shout outs before I rudely try to end the show? No? All right. Shout outs to everyone listening. Thanks again for listening to HearthCenter. This is about the time where the cool music comes in and I say goodbye. So yeah, thank you to our guests. Thank you to our editorial writers from Gosugamers Hearthstone. You guys do so much work just to deliver us all the best Hearthstone content. So thanks for being on the show, guys.
Thank you too.
Yep. All right.
Thank
Cool,
you.
cool.
All right. This is Nick Dorazio signing out for GG.net. Thank you for listening.